And then he insulted the entire SLU body by saying that we were a bunch of little cupcakes who couldn't handle this. So taking little cupcakes from that, we decided to actually form a protest. And in response, we decided to make cupcakes, and we're going to be handing them out for free at the protest tonight, but we are going to be asking for donations.
They're back. Yeah. The cupcakes are back. Well, you've seen them all over the streets of St. Louis. Folks who can't, I don't know if that's the word I would use, but folks who can't accept their reality, right? The reality of the law, the reality of the freedom of speech, who want to think, just like the ones on the campus of Berkeley, who think that just because they disagree with somebody's opinion, they have a right to shut it down. I loved what Ben Shapiro said, who finally got to speak on the campus of Berkeley. He thanked Antifa for drawing attention to this problem.
Who don't want to be told that they can only hear one view, who don't believe that the First Amendment should die under the jackboots and Birkenstocks of a bunch of anarchist communist pieces of garbage. Thanks to Antifa and the supposed anti-fascist brigade for exposing what the radical left truly is, all of America is watching because you guys are so stupid. It's horrifying, I am grateful, and you can all go to hell, you pathetic, lying, stupid jackasses.
Yeah, Ben didn't cut him any slack out there. So anyway, the reason I bring this up is I mentioned before we went to break that the campus of St. Louis University, they were pressuring the people at SLU to give a scholarship to the daughter of Anthony Lamar Smith. I thought that's kind of ridiculous to try to force a private university to do that has no responsibility in any of this. The city's already given the family almost $1 million in a wrongful death settlement, even though there's been no wrongdoing proved, right? So then this Dr. Fred Postello at SLU never fails to let you down. He sends out an email to the entire student body, and I just want you to listen to it because it gives you a glimpse into why we're in the situation we're in today, Chris Arps. Okay. At our university, there are people who do not feel safe, supported, or affirmed. These are not strangers. I'm assuming what Dr. Postello sounds like. They are our classmates, co-workers, and collaborators, and their feelings are real. I have been moved by recent conversations in which students and colleagues have made themselves vulnerable to revealing exactly how fearful, hurt, and troubled they are. Most at SLU are struggling at this moment to comprehend this. I among them. So I bring that to your attention because
I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
He goes on to say, what is our role when we see these emotions amplified within the larger St. Louis community? I believe we should begin by affirming their experiences because they're hurting and grieving. Here's the problem I have with this. How do you affirm something that's not real? And what I mean is the fact that there have been inequities in the law in the past and people feel like they haven't been treated fairly is fine. But like I said yesterday, Anthony Lamar Smith is not their poster boy. This is not the case that signifies the mistreatment of blacks on the bigger scale by police. It's not, because most of the people that are down there peacefully protesting don't deal heroin and don't put themselves in a situation where they might be in a conflict with police and get shot.
Yeah, and it was the same situation with Michael Brown, who became a poster child for the BLM and the Hands Up movement. I mean, no one will say that there aren't disparities in justice. No one will say that there aren't still vestiges of racism. But it's just when we fall on the – I'm talking about as black people. When we fall on the sword, and every life is precious, let me get that out there. But when we fall on the sword for people like Michael Brown and for Anthony Lamar Smith, and not as much for legitimate police shootings where the guy was shot in the back running away, or the guy that was reaching for his wallet and was shot.
Right.
You know, those are the situations. If something like that happened here in St. Louis, I'd be the first one out there marching and protesting if there was injustice with that. But some of this, you know, as I said last week, if you are an alleged heroin dealer and you're trying to escape from the police and you almost hit a police officer and you're riding through the streets of St. Louis crazily
at 80 miles an hour.
What happens, you know, and if you get killed or something happens and it goes to a court of law, you're not probably going to get the benefit of the doubt in the eyes of the law when it comes between you and the police officer's account of what happened. I mean, that's just life.
And when I see things like this from a university, and we had the same thing after the election of Donald Trump. How in the world are these people like Fred Postello and these professors at St. Louis University and other college campuses around the world, how in the world are they preparing our children for the real world, for the fact that the real world is not friendly and doesn't give you a safe space all the time, when all they want to do is give them safe spaces?
But you really have to go back further. I mean, they're just the next step in this participation trophy
right.
generation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been like Little League. Oh, you get a trophy for showing up. So college is just the final culmination of the participation trophy education.
Because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
You know, gays say that's
offensive.
That lisp that he talks with is offensive to them.
Yeah, but it was 20 years ago.
I know.
I mean, that's an old clip from Stuart Smalley. You can listen to him speaking to. Apparently, he's coming to speak to Missouri Democrats soon, so you can listen to him then.
But they say that's
and he's still
offensive.
got that same lisp, so it's okay. They'll get over it, right?
Are we gonna end on
what
that?
we're dealing with here is a complete lack of respect for the law.
I'm just saying. What's your take, Chris, on the violence, the riots we've seen up until now? I know most of them happen at night. We didn't get one last night, but a thunderstorm rolled through. That might have calmed things down a little bit. We got a Billy Joel concert coming up. We got other things that are happening in St. Louis. I think this is far from over.
I think it was interesting if you saw the paper this morning where now there's a controversy because the police used this police technique called kettling to round everybody up and get them in one spot, you know, kind of like a big dragnet. And apparently some wonderful journalists and some legal observers, whatever that means, but they've been saying that in the paper, got caught up in that, and unfortunately they had to spend a few hours in jail and have a bologna sandwich.
And I'll reiterate my point on Facebook.
Yeah.
If they'd been at home watching it on TV, that wouldn't have happened.
What about at the post?
They put themselves in that situation, and they stood on that side of the line across from the police where the crap was going down. If they hadn't been there, that wouldn't have happened to them, and I don't feel bad for them.
But you're a former journalist. Can you have empathy for the Post-Dispatch reporter to get swept up in that? And he
I don't want to see him arresting reporters. I don't want to see him arresting reporters.
Even though you're not in the profession,
but I mean, for the other people, who were down there who
that.
got swept up in it.
Yeah, I'm with
you didn't
on
need to
that.
be down there.
Yeah. That's what happened to one of the people that got caught up. She was like, "Oh, me and my boyfriend, we just came down here to look, you know, be looky-loos."
Yeah.
And then they got caught up and are in jail.
That's why you don't go upstairs when there's a tornado coming. You go to the basement.
That's
Avoid
Benjamin
problems.
Franklin almanac.
I'm telling you.
Right there.
Thank you
Beautiful.
very much, Chris. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. In the next hour, stick around. You're going to want to hear this. Heather McDonald, author of The War on Cops. We'll be right back.
This hour of the Mark Cox Show brought to you by Naputi Wellness, NaputiWellnessCenter.com.
All right, when it's time for your next haircut, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go online to hairsaloon.com, find the hair salon nearest you, and walk in and get a haircut. Tell me if it's not the finest experience you've had in a hair salon in a long time to get your haircut. Where do you go right now? Whoever's got an opening, whoever's got a coupon. I've been going to the same lady at Hair Saloon for at least 10 or 12 years, maybe longer than that. And I never have to wait. I usually set an appointment.